This is a story about the girl who trusted a stranger. Imisi Richards never saw it coming. She was a 21-year-old girl from Ibadan, with bright eyes, a softer-than-silk voice, and a heart that held too much hope for this world. Her neighbors used to say she was born with light in her eyes, the kind of light that made people believe in better days. She lived with her parents and two younger siblings in a modest bungalow at Okadu, a neighborhood where the cries of traders mixed with the laughter of children, and the smell of roasted plantain drifted through the air. Her mother, Mama Ruth, sold vegetables in Bodija Market, while her father, Mr. Richards, a retired civil servant, now repaired radios and electric fans to keep the family going. Life was not perfect, but it was peaceful. Every morning, Imisi would sweep the compound, help her mother wash the vegetables, and hurry down the dusty road to her small health sciences institute. Her classmates called her bookworm because she was always reading even during breaks. She rarely went out, never wore makeup, and avoided gossip. Her dream was simple: to become a nurse, help her parents, and lift her siblings out of struggle. But destiny, they say, hides its darkest traps beneath the sweetest dreams. It started one humid afternoon after class. The sun was lazy, dipping low as traffic roared through Dugb. Imisi was walking home, her books pressed to her chest, when a black Toyota slowed beside her. The tinted window rolled down, and a young man leaned out, tall, confident, with the kind of smile that could melt granite. "Excuse me, fine girl," he called. "You dropped something." She looked around. Nothing. He grinned. "Ah, sorry, I meant your smile. You dropped it." Imisi frowned, but couldn't help blushing a little. That was how Michael entered her life, smooth-talking, polite, and attentive. He began showing up at her school, pretending coincidence. He'd buy her lunch, wait to give her rides, even stand in the rain holding an umbrella until her classes ended. Everyone noticed him. Her friends teased her, "Ah, Imisi don find love-o," and she laughed shyly, but deep down she felt special. Michael was gentle. He listened. He asked about her dreams, her family, her fears. He told her she was too soft for this hard country. It didn't take long before her heart surrendered. For a girl who had never been in love, his attention was intoxicating. He made her feel seen. He met her parents, greeted them respectfully, and brought small gifts: bread, milk, sometimes even medicine for her father's arthritis. Even Mr. Richards nodded in approval. "This one looks responsible," he told his wife. "He has manners." Imisi believed she had found her blessing, but blessings can sometimes be the devil's disguise. One evening, 3 months later, Michael brought up the future. They sat beneath the mango tree behind her house, watching fireflies blink across the yard. "You're too smart to waste your life here, Imisi," he said softly. "There's a nursing school in Italy. My cousin works with an agency that can get you there legally. You'll study and work part-time. I'll join you once you've settled." Italy, the word glittered in her mind like gold. When she hesitated, he held her hands. "You trust me, don't you?" And she nodded, "With all my heart." That was her first mistake. Her passport was arranged quickly, too quickly. A man she'd never met handed her a plane ticket in Lagos and told her everything was handled. When she asked Michael why she hadn't gone through an embassy, he smiled and said, "That's how these things work. You're lucky." She believed him. Her mother cried tears of joy the day she left. Her father prayed over her, hands trembling. "Go and make us proud, my daughter," he said. "The world will hear your name." She smiled, not knowing those words would one day become bitter. The flight took her from Lagos to Istanbul, then to Milan. She'd never been abroad before, and everything felt like a dream: the lights, the foreign tongues, the cold air. But dreams often turn to nightmares in an instant. When she landed, no one from the so-called agency was there. Instead, two men in black coats approached her. One had a gold chain. The other's stare was as cold as winter rain. "You are Imisi?" the first asked. "Yes," she said, clutching her bag. "Follow us." They took her luggage without a word. Something in her stomach twisted, but she stayed quiet. Hours later, they stopped at a lonely compound outside Naples. The place reeked of cigarettes and fear. Inside, a woman sat on a couch, counting euros. She looked Nigerian with harsh eyes and red lipstick. "Welcome," the woman said flatly. "I'm Auntie Rosa." Imisi smiled weakly. "Good evening, Ma. I'm here for school." Rosa laughed, a cruel, broken laugh. "School? My dear, you owe us 12,000 euros. You'll work until you pay it." "Work? What kind of work?" The woman stood, walked close, and tilted her chin. "Don't pretend. You'll learn fast." That night they dressed her in tight, revealing clothes. She cried and begged, but Rosa slapped her. "You belong to me now. Obey or you die." When the cold wind bit her skin as she stood by the roadside, her heart broke. She understood then. Michael had sold her. Weeks turned to months. Her body ached, her soul emptied. Every night she stood on the street, watched by guards. Some men smiled, most didn't care. They treated her like a thing. If she refused, Rosa's men beat her. If she wept, Rosa mocked her. "Cry all you want," Rosa said once, puffing a cigarette. "Tears don't change debt." In the house there were 10 other girls. Mercy from Ghana, Anita from Benin, Favor from Port Harcourt. They became her family, bound by pain. At night they whispered stories. Mercy missed her daughter. Anita had been there for 4 years. Imisi listened, silent, thinking of home, her mother's songs, the smell of rice and stew, her siblings' laughter. "Don't cry," Mercy would whisper. "If you cry too much, your spirit will die before your body." But one night, Favor didn't return. Rosa said she'd run away. Days later, whispers spread that her body was found near the highway. That was when Imisi's fear turned to fire. After 6 months, she planned to escape. She watched the guards, learned their routines, hid coins whenever she could. One night, when Rosa's men were drunk after a football match, she slipped out through the back door, barefoot. The cold bit her feet as she ran. Behind her, someone shouted. She ran faster through bushes, across fields, over fences. Dogs barked. Her lungs burned. At dawn, she reached a small village and hid behind a church. For 2 days, she drank rainwater and ate leftover bread from bins. Then she saw it, a flyer with her photo on a wall. "Missing worker," reward offered. They were hunting her. She began moving constantly, sleeping in parks, under bridges, in abandoned train stations. Once, Rosa's thugs nearly caught her. She saw them at a market and dived into a drainage pipe. She lay there for hours as water soaked her skin. Rats scurried over her feet, but she didn't move. When they left, she crawled out shaking. Her hair fell out, her skin bruised, but she refused to give up. Weeks later, on a freezing morning, she sat by a bus stop, hungry and trembling, when a woman in a nurse's uniform approached her. "My sister, are you okay?" the woman asked softly. Imisi looked up, startled, her tongue trembled. "Please help me." The woman's eyes widened. "Are you Nigerian?" She nodded weakly. "Come," the woman said, holding her hand. "There's a place where you'll be safe." That night, she was taken to a safe house, a sanctuary run by an NGO for abused women. For the first time in a year, she slept without fear. Healing was hard. The nightmares came often. She woke up screaming, drenched in sweat, haunted by Rosa's voice. The counselors were kind. They spoke gently, taught her Italian, helped her get therapy. Slowly, she began to laugh again. She learned to cook Italian food, volunteered at hospitals, and began helping other survivors. She became strong, unrecognizable from the broken girl she once was. Still, some nights, she dreamt of home and Michael. Not long later, her friends were saved when the police raided the house in Naples. Dozens of women were also rescued. Rosa was killed by a gunshot when she tried to run. Then one morning, Imisi received an email. From Michael. "I'm sorry for everything. They forced me. Please forgive me. I'm in Milan. Can we meet, please?" She stared at the message for a long time. Rage and sadness, all tangled inside her. In the end, she agreed to meet him. She wanted to know why he betrayed her. They met in a quiet cafe. He looked thinner, older, guilt weighing on his shoulders. "Imisi," he said, tears glistening. "I was threatened. They said they'd kill me if I didn't help them. Please, I never wanted to hurt you." She looked at him calm. "You had a choice, I didn't." He bowed his head. "I'm sorry." She stood, eyes steady. "I forgive you because of the love I had for you, but I will never forget." Then she turned and walked away, leaving him sobbing into his hands. Outside, the cold air felt different, clean, free. A year later, she returned to Nigeria with the NGO team. When her plane landed in Lagos, she trembled. Her mother's scream echoed the moment she saw her. "Imisi!" They ran into each other's arms. Mama Ruth wept uncontrollably. Mr. Richards, who had aged beyond his years, held her face, whispering, "God brought you back." "I'm home, Father," she said, crying. "I'm home." That night, neighbors filled the compound. Lanterns glowed, songs rose, and tears turned to laughter. She told them her story, and people sat in stunned silence. From that day, she began to speak publicly, in schools, churches, radio stations. She told young girls, "Don't trust easily. The world hides monsters behind smiles." 3 years passed. Imisi became a symbol of courage. She worked with law enforcement to rescue others, using her experience to track networks across Africa and Europe. She founded the Light Project, a foundation for survivors. Her story spread across Nigeria, Europe, and beyond. When journalists asked how she survived, she said, "I didn't survive to stay silent. I survived to speak." And so, the girl who was betrayed rose higher than her pain. The same voice that once whispered for help now carried hope to thousands. And though her scars remained, They shone proof that even in darkness, light can be born again. Imisi Richards' story became a living folktale, a modern parable of trust, betrayal, and rebirth. A warning to the naive, a comfort to the broken, and a reminder that sometimes even the softest hearts can survive the hardest storms. For she was no longer the girl who trusted a stranger. She was the woman who trusted herself and found her freedom. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another captivating story. See you in the next one.